Hey folks, Travis D. some more from Texas here, at Travis Texian on some platforms. Now, what I want to talk to you today about, the title of my topic, is Vaccines and Tinfoil Hat Theories, or maybe not. And there have been numerous recent scientific researchers and doctors around the world looking at statistical data on death reports and medical examinations of people who've taken a vaccine and what they call vaccine injuries. And I will say, in full disclosure, I took the first Moderna shot in April 2021, so I have a personal interest in this research. Okay, folks, here's a document I'm going to go through with you, and I've increased the font so maybe you can read it along as I go through it. Like I said in the introduction, I took the first Moderna shot in April 2021, so I have a personal interest in this information. And first guy I want to talk about, whether or not there's been injury or whatever, is Ed Dowd, or Edward Dowd. And I've got his LinkedIn account listed here. And I'm going to attach this document to the videos if I can. In the narrative or explanation, I'm going to put a Dropbox link so you can pull this up yourself and click on the links and find this research on your own. But the first one I got here is his LinkedIn account. Let me move my top bar down and get the right thing up. Get over here, Ed Dowd. And here's his LinkedIn account. You can look at it yourself. Let me raise this up again. And you notice me moving my head up and down. That's so I can get my trifocals in the right spot. Can you bear with me on that? And, it tells about who he is, and he has a book, Calls Unknown. It's shown right there. And, he was a Wall Street analyst and BlackRock portfolio manager, and he studied insurance statistics on death and death occurrences and everything for his companies that were investing in insurance portfolios. So, he's a statistical guru, and he knows about this stuff. Get back on my document here. And like I said, he's got a book out. It's called Calls Unknown. It's at Barnes & Noble. And in that book, he goes through everything about his statistical theories on what's caused different kind of injuries and deaths. Not just deaths, but he studied the injuries a lot, and not just in the United States, but he's been getting statistical data from all around the world. And he looks at the dates when there was a spike in deaths, and then it went down for a while, and then there was another spike when different countries started giving vaccines. And so it's pretty interesting data. Once again, I say look at it yourself and see what you think about it. Another source is Dr. Naomi Wolf, and I've got her right there. And she's on Getter. And a lot of these people you're not going to find too much. If you Google them, you're going to find, that they're a conspiracy theorist or whatever. Make up your own mind about that. But Getter's a platform where you have to know who you really want to listen to. I listen to Bannon's War Room, Dr. Naomi Wolf, Edward Dowd, and I don't think Ed Dowd has his own Getter platform, but he's interviewed by different hosts on the Getter platform. And same thing with Rumble.com. You pull up Rumble and it's got all the gamers and all that. Well, I'm not a gamer, but if you learn who to look for, you can look at their podcast, and there's some great information. I'm not an expert on everything. I'm a retired law enforcement. I spent 3 years in Afghanistan as a law enforcement professional, embedded, a contractor with the U.S. Army, working with Afghans. So I learned a lot about the Afghan culture and a lot of things that were happening in Afghanistan, and I'm pretty darn familiar with the type of stuff I was working on. And, but I'm not a doctor, I'm not a vaccine expert, and I'm not an injuries expert with vaccines and all that, but these people are. And like I said, Dr. Naomi Wolf, and I'll show you, like on Getter, let me find her here. Here she is. And she wrote a book, Facing the Beast. and another clue, Dr. Naomi Wolf was a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, thought all this was baloney, but as the COVID crisis hit in early 2020, and she started watching what was happening, she got a little suspicious, and then she started looking at data and information, and through the last 3 years, she is connected with people like Edward Dowd and other people. She's has been a frequent guest on Bannon's War Room and some other podcasts where they interview her and they have these discussions back and forth, looking at statistical data and what the reality is on the ground. So, take a look at that. She's, like I said, been interviewed by a lot of people. So let me get back to my document just a second. And then a third source is Dr. McCulloch from Texas. And he got interviewed on Rumble.com and by Maria Z. Maria Z, and that's Z-triple-E, is an Australian journalist. Great gal, very knowledgeable. And she got into this as she was seeing what was happening in her country in Australia with the COVID lockdowns and all that. And she got full-time into journalism and was looking at all this stuff. So she's a great gal to take a look at. Just very intelligent, sharp. Let me find her here. Here she is. And here's her interview with Dr. Peter McCulloch at the Reawaken American Tour. Maria has come to the United States a couple of times. She spent some time in Texas recently with Mike Adams and Alex Jones. And she fills in for Alex on uncensored videos or censored whatever, but she fills in for him. And she's a great resource. She has her own channel on Rumble.com. And in this one, she interviewed Dr. McCulloch. Great information, and one thing I appreciate about her, she footnotes a lot of her data. Let me see. Here it is again. Scroll up. All right, it's Rumble.com and her interview. And well, this was on Stu Peters posted this, but in this particular link, it's footnoted on some things about detoxing and all that from the vaccine. So as you look at these resources, scroll down a little bit and see if they have some good comments and some references. Like I say, she's a great lady. Back to my document. And speaking of shot injuries, this is something I found here a few weeks ago. Well, a friend of mine found it and showed it to me and sent it to me and said, "You got to watch this." And it's on Rumble once again, and a Dr. Brian Artis, and he talks about an antidote for the COVID-19 vaccine. And this is one of these things where it's very interesting. It's a 2.5-hour video, and in that first part, he tells about his personal story. He lost his father-in-law, who he respected and cared for a lot, through the standard protocol of treatments they were giving him at a hospital. And then he goes from there into research, and he had someone else send him a cryptic note that said, "Look up antivenom." And so he did, and as he started doing that, he was seeing some symptoms that similar to what snake venom causes, and he did a lot of research, and he states that all in the first 2 hours. And then about the second hour, and it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes or whatever, if you go to 2 hours, 0 minutes, he starts detailing what he considers to be an antidote. And he talks about nicotine and how the nicotine, when attached to the cells, won't let some of the bad stuff that's supposed to be in a vaccine enter the cell. Once again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a blood expert. I'm not a biological cell expert. But listen to him, look at it, make your own mind up. And then as we continue this thought, I've got, there's a website called Ann Magazine, and it's on Substack.com. And there's an article here about who's killing young Americans. And you can look at it. I think I've got it up. Let me see if I can get to it here. Yeah, crisis. Here it is. andmagazine.substack.com/p/crisis -who -it is etc. killing young America. And I highlighted some of this in blue. Thinking Americans are realizing the so-called COVID vaccine is very dangerous. Talking about seeing athletes collapse on the field and commentators collapse on TV, and I do know a man that died the day after he got a COVID vaccine. Good health. I think he was in his mid to late 40s. I was in a group with his son. Haven't seen the son since it happened. That was a couple of years ago, and very sad situation. And I do have friends that believe they're vaccine injured to the point of having turbo cancers and some other issues. So understand where that's coming from. And that's their feeling that those were vaccine injuries. This references CDC and recognized vaccines adverse effects and established a vaccine online reporting system named VSafe that they have since taken down. And all that's in that And magazine article. Let me back up a little bit. Here's the video, where the 2.5-hour video where he talks, and that's on Rumble. You'll just have to look at the link in the document. Antidote for COVID-19 bioweapon injections is what they called it. And like I say, it's a long video. My wife and I both listened to it twice, but occasionally we make long distance drives, so we're able to listen to an hour, hour and a half, going and coming, so we can get the whole thing in one trip. And very interesting. So what I'm doing is encouraging you to look around. You're not going to find this stuff on the mainstream media. It's just not going to be there. Or they say it's disinformation. And you can call it tinfoil hat conspiracies, and I got my tinfoil hat right here. I'm not going to put it on, but I've got one. But I don't think this is going to be much effect for anything. But take a look at these documents and see what the truth is. Like I say, the good references in this document, check them out and verify yourself. Take some time, review this information, and get real. All this stuff, the people dying is real. We're seeing documentation on even mainstream media all the time, almost daily. So-and-so died suddenly, and it's a young athlete or TV personality or just whoever. And this stuff's real. So take some time and look at it. I will tell you, I've got my affiliate links, and I'm going to have them posted on the face of these videos at the bottom. I'd appreciate it if you take a look. I've got Radio Diddity for radios. I think it's a really catchy name, but look at my link. And then I've got for medicine, I'm not talking about bandages. I'm talking about medicine, and it's Jase Medical. That's JASE Medical, and take a look at my link. They got a wide range of things for various infections or concerns, and you can get them directly from them without having to go through your doctor. And then I've got the Brighteon Store. .com. I've got a link to that where you can get various kinds of like prepping supplies, food, and a lot of other things. So take a look at my links. I appreciate it, and let's get informed, stay informed. Look at this stuff. If you look at all these people I've got listed in this document, and I've shown you today, there's a lot of good data there from some really sharp people. And they came from a background of all walks of life. They weren't all tinfoil hat people, okay? So take a look at and let me know what you think. Message me in the comments.